NaNoWriMo 2022. I did it. Here is the congratulations winner Nano gives you when you conquer the 50,000 word goal. Let me show you a little bit about my journey this month and then my results. Here's the proof. Day 25. I hit 50,540 words. Whoop whoop. So you can see on day one, I crushed it. I had about 10,000 words. And then I slipped a little in the middle of the month, but I was ahead of the curve every single day of the month. And I'll talk a little bit about why I think that happened. Because this is basically my life. You can see I had a couple really, really good days, but you can see I had a lot of days at 0. So to hit 50,000, it was very different than I anticipated. I had planned out, basically 2,000 words a day with a couple days off. And my results did nothing but that. So I had really good days. I had a lot of 0 days. And I'll show you the planning now that I did, what I used, what I didn't, and what I will learn for next year. So the big thing that I did that I think helped so much to be able to just sit and binge write is I planned out during Plantober and plotted the significant amount of scene cards. I will say Act 1 and 2A, I worked strictly off the cards. And then 2B, I went down some rabbit holes, but kind of stayed on track. And Act 3, I was just off the rails. I wasn't using them at all. I'll have some problems in editing because of that. But my planning helped for the plot in a huge way. Okay, so I showed you my journal and I had my daily goals. That worked for about a week. And then I really wanted to try to capture everything by actually the sessions that I did. So I started an Excel spreadsheet and that worked up till like day 11. And then all I did was update on the Nano site after that. So I actually don't have like how many minutes and things I worked. So I'll just say this wasn't used as much and utilized as much as I would have wanted. It didn't go as smoothly as I thought. But here is what I did day to day. So you can see I started on the 1st. I actually started at midnight and did 7,400 words, then 2,800 words. And you can see that goes all the way through the 25th. So Nano is what I used. I will say the one thing I did not like about the Nano site is I did a ton of my writing from like 11 to 2 or 3 a.m. And I wanted it to count as 11 or that previous day because that's when I started it, but it's when you load it. So it would always do it the next day. So my numbers are a little off, but that's just how it is. But that's the one thing. If Nano's watching this, can you change the site so you can actually put which day if it goes over a span of time? I don't know. That's just a little bit of a difference. So when you did update the site, I showed this. All these previous ones are from previous videos I've done. You can see on the right, I got a lot of little badges and things. You can see I never got past 3 days in a row just because it just seemed to work out with my life. The badges are cute. I didn't get into them as much as I thought I would. My time was just more focused on the writing portion, which was just interesting. And then this is just super interesting. So I put this planner together and I had the calendar and I only used that for a couple of days. I had brainstorming and notes I was going to use. The big X's mean I didn't use them. The sprints, I didn't do any sprints with anyone. I did them with myself. But I did use the rewards and I did use the music. So I just kind of plotted that out in my mind. So I did a huge amount of planning and going through Preptober. Looking back, I'm looking at the things I didn't use, so I probably won't do that again. But it was an interesting process. So I don't regret doing it, but I do think it was interesting how much I didn't use in the planning process. I just wanted to write. So the music was good. I did use the music when I was missing some days and I was feeling bad about it. And to really get myself kind of hyped up, I would listen to the music. For writing, I actually did ocean waves, and that really helps me. I don't like to write when I'm listening to music because it distracts me. So the white noise really, really helped me. These were my rules. Record your writing sprints and word count daily. I did that for, I don't know, about a week or a week and a half, and then that fell off. Update via YouTube daily. I did not get to do that daily. Never let a night go without backing up and reporting out. I backed up, but I didn't report out. I did hit going daily to Nano, and I didn't do any drinks or desserts until my writing goal was complete. I'll say on the days that I did write, I did say, okay, I'm not finishing my day where I kind of rewind relax with a glass of wine, or I just didn't do that until I got my writing in. So the rewards did work at 10,000, which was like first day. I didn't get it until that weekend, but I did get bath items and candles. And then the mani-pedi I didn't get just because I was going so quickly, and then I didn't have time to go and spend 2 or 3 hours. But I did do the fine dining dinner actually during the hotel stay. One of the candles I got, though, was the biggest thing. It's this wood wick candle, and it was so awesome because it became my white noise. So the facial and spa with hubby, I am going to schedule sometime in December, and that'll be super exciting. Neither of us have done that before, and so I'm sure I'll find something here in Vegas. You can definitely find couples retreats like that. So super excited. So I was planning on doing almost all of my writing in my main location, which was in my office in my master bedroom, and then some in the spa, and then some at write-ins. And I thought I was almost going to exclusively use sprints, the online sprint virtual group. So it ended up I did do a majority of my writing, but it was only about 20,000 words in my office. Spa or bed, and I'll just break it up. Tub, I did about 10,000 words. I just didn't get into the flow like I thought I could. I actually spent about 5,000 words over a couple different days downstairs with my son. He plays video games, and I just kind of wanted to chill with him, and he played while I wrote, and that was kind of fun. And then 5,000 in bed or kitchen table, just different areas when I kind of got disturbed in my main location, to be quite honest. And then 10,000 at the hotel, which was super interesting. I will say that my network, I'm just going to say none for this year. I thought there would be a little bit more. I tried to get to all the YouTubes. I tried to post up on social media like these videos, and I didn't know that's against the rules in almost all the sites. It's considered self-promotion. So you're allowed to ask like general questions like, how do you plot this, or how could you show rather than tell that? But only the owners of the sites are able to like talk about their journey, which is, I guess, totally understandable. I just didn't understand that. So I thought I was going to establish a lot more of a network. And there was a major conference out here, and I tried, or I was going to go to it, but I decided I wanted to focus on writing. It's a little too early for me. I went through Sarah's or Heart Breathing's class on how to write a novel, and there's a lot of stuff I haven't even gotten to yet because I'm in the planning and plotting stuff, not even into the marketing and everything else as an indie, because I haven't decided if I'm going indie. So I feel like I have enough of the nuts and bolts early on to be able to just write, and I want to do that, write and edit for the next year. So the network piece, I did post it and said, okay, I'm going to say it, I'm kind of struggling of getting a network going, and so many people tagged the post saying, I feel exactly the same way. And so I know that's a need, or maybe it's just a function of how it is. I don't know. I know a lot of the veteran writers out there have a pretty significant network, so maybe that'll come over time, but social media doesn't seem the way to do that, and that makes sense. Yeah, it's not where you get your meaningful connections. It's more of a tag in or a tag up or ask a generic question. So I just found it interesting. So that is where I wrote, and it's a little more lonely than I thought it was going to be. There is a couple of sites, though, that I can definitely ask a question and know I'll get 10 or 20 responses, which is super helpful. So I won't say that it's completely not useful, but it's just more of individual questions more than, making kind of meaningful relationships, which I found very interesting. Biggest, hugest success, I definitely think, was Hotel Retreat week 3. Even though I did a video on it and I got distracted, it got me to almost 10,000 words. And then I was only shy like 800 words. And then I crushed the goal. So week 2 was kind of the worst for me from a writing perspective, productivity perspective. So when I got into 3, I knew I needed to do something. I got heart breathings is where I got that idea. I got down there, even with distractions, I was able to just conquer the goal because that's where I was there. It was like I was committed. So that's what made the difference for me, and I had not planned to do that. So I did update YouTube on day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because I wrote for those days. 6 and 7 I didn't. 8, 15, 20, and 23, and now I think this will go up on 25 or 26. So it was interesting because the days that I didn't write, I didn't do a video saying I didn't write, and those are mostly the days. I think there was one day that I wrote that I didn't do a video. So it's interesting. I was okay on this, but it wasn't as clean as I would have wanted it to be. It wasn't perfection. So here's where I'm going to analyze, because I went back over everything from Nano, which is cool because it's all up there. So I only wrote 13 out of the 25 days. I hit the goal on day 25. So in 12 days, I got 50,000 words. Really big was the first 3 days. I had a 10,000 word day, a 4,000 word day, and a 6,000 word day. So I was over 20,000 in the first 3 days, and I was at 25 or 22,000 by the end of the first week, and that was even a half week. So I think I was so excited at that point that this is a good lessons learned. Don't set a lot of goals. I didn't set a goal for day 1 because I just wanted to destroy whatever. I didn't want to get to whatever it was and stop. I just wanted to go, and I knew I had so much planning done that I could really get through that first. I thought it was going to be 5,000 or 7,000 words. The week 2 was my worst at 4,900. Week 3, I kind of rebounded at 13,000. And then week 4 with the hotel stay of almost, it was like 9,500. So I just rounded up and said 10,000. I had a 14,000 week. So again, first goal, I haven't seen anyone do that. Just don't set a goal because you're going to be so excited to write. And then the hotel retreat got me 9,500. So really there's like 4 days that got me, they're over 30,000. And then I had little bits. And that's probably what I'm going to focus on next year is I found that I was able to sit in, and when I got my writing going, I didn't want to stop at 20 or 30 minutes and get 1,500 in. I wanted to sit for 2 or 3 hours and just crank out. If I could get into that zone, and those days that I got in the zone, I had, 4,000, 6,000, 10,000 word days. So that's probably what I'll focus on next year is definitely taking some piece and writing off, maybe doing some planning between or replotting if I start to get off because I have some disconnects now or inconsistencies. So that will be a big thing I will do for next Nano. So for next year, these are reminders and kind of things that I've learned through this year. I will say software matters. My editing is going to be a bit of a mess. I use some headers in Word, but I don't think that's going to be the best way. So I know a lot of people talk about Scrivener and some other software packages, and I'm going to look into those. That's going to be my big takeaway for next year. Plotting, I will say I'm definitely going to embrace some of the rabbit holes, but then stop and understand what consequences that has to other portions of the story and take better track of that, because I know I have some inconsistencies and I just wrote in the story, okay, go back and correct in earlier chapter X, and I'm just going to go back to that. I think I did a little bit too much planning because I wanted to try everything. I wanted to try rewards, and I wanted to try music, and I wanted to try these charts, and I kind of threw everything in, and this was a really good year to find out what not to spend a ton of time on. And so I'm going to spend all my time on plotting cards, or most of it, and then let the rest kind of fall where they may and have my Excel spreadsheet set up. And then I am not at 20 to 25 minute goals. I do like to write for 20 to 25 minutes, take a few minute break, and then just keep going for a few hours. So I really like it that I didn't realize if I hit a zone, I can just keep going because I wrote for several hours. Like I think First day and hotel day, I wrote for over 3 hours, and I really, really felt good about it. My biggest issue is definitely a dedicated space. I don't have one. That was rough, but it is what it is. So I'm excited about all of what I did at Nano this year. So there it is. There is my certificate, and I won Nanowrimo. And this is 2022. So my book is nowhere near done. I have probably another maybe 30,000 words to go, but I'm definitely well on my way, and I'm going to continue that moving forward. So I'm excited, and thank you guys for watching me on my journey. And I have this documented for next year when I do Nano again, what worked, what didn't, and what I needed to remember. So thank you. Bye.